Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. Ready to go over all the shows and movies and documentaries that get released over the past week. And as a bonus, this is of course Christmas Eve as of recording this, so our gift to you guys is our recommendations or non-recommendations as the case may be. And helping out is of course my little elf on the shelf here, of course, that's Senor Jaime, aka Chewy, spreading his Christmas cheer. How are we doing?
Hey, brother, what's going on? Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve, yeah, whatever. Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas.
Some people here tonight at midnight, some people
Happy
tomorrow
Kwanzaa.
morning, Kwanzaa,
Happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah, New Year's, and Los Tres Reyes, of course, the Puerto Ricans out there giving our love to you guys, all et cetera,
Boricua.
et cetera. No matter what nationality, there's always some good stuff on TV, so I don't want to hear this nonsense, nothing to watch. There's always something to watch. It may not be good, as we're going to get into shortly, but there's always something to watch nonetheless.
Stop.
And we're here to kind
Stop.
of
Don't
help
even
you.
start. Don't even start, dude. Don't even
I'm
start,
not,
dude.
I haven't
Keep
started.
it
The show
positive.
hasn't even
Keep it
started.
positive.
We're keeping it. Well, I can't keep it positive because it's actually a very, very sad week.
Ah, yes.
Despite the
There
fact
is
that
a
it is Christmas Eve, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but of
horrible news.
course, a little in memoriam, of course, very, very, very sad passing of one show we
Criminal.
have been
Criminal.
criminally, underrated nonetheless. Of course, from HBO Max, and that is Warrior, ending after 3 seasons. Max not bringing it back, which kind of sucks because I know you and I were big fans of this particular
Huge.
show.
Huge.
Yeah, this one was. I'm surprised. It's what happens when you put shows on Thursdays and not Sundays. I guess I don't know.
Well, there you go. Yeah, but
Right?
I mean, a string of bad luck. I mean, obviously, this was an actual original Cinemax, the Max, the real
Yeah,
Max.
yeah. Back in the days.
uh, great show, critically acclaimed, but it was on Cinemax, so I don't think many people had the chance to watch. I mean, they're highest rated show, but I
Mhm.
mean, honestly, how did people had Cinemax? Let's be honest.
Right.
Um, and then once the whole merger and reacquisition, then it was put on HBO, and they saw the big numbers from replaying. They brought it back, but it took a while because we had to go through COVID. Once it
Mhm.
was ready to drop, what happens? We have strikes, and so the promotion of it was next to nil, aside from a few commercials. So it was just, I mean, vexed.
Yeah.
Uh, on the good news, Netflix has picked up the non-exclusive rights, at least in the U.S. I'm not sure, maybe even globally.
No. Okay.
So come February of next year, or within a week, you'll be able to watch it on HBO. If you're a fan and if you want to see them try to bring it back, put it in the background. Just
Yeah.
replay, replay, replay. Do what you got to
Replay.
do, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to see these petitions. Do your job. Put it on the computer.
People are fighting
Start
for the
streaming
warrior.
it.
People are fighting for the warrior. None if you're fighting for warrior, for Christ's sake.
And yes, for
Um,
Christ's sake,
to say
absolutely,
least.
please.
And it's not. Yeah, it's
Give
not.
us the real warrior.
Yeah, please. It's stupid. None. No warrior. None. And it's not the first time we've seen shows like The Expanse was picked up after its cancellation on Sci-Fi, if I'm not mistaken, or Amazon picked it up anyway.
Yes, that's why. Yeah, after
Um,
3 seasons on Sci-Fi, they picked up
yeah.
but I mean, but they picked up to continue. Netflix
Well,
is
I get it, but
is
it's still
wait and
see.
see
But
mode.
the chances there, Cobra Kai was on YouTube TV, and Netflix
Yes,
picked it
that's
up as
right.
well.
They
So
got picked up. Yeah.
it's not beyond the realm of possibility. If not people,
No,
listen.
it's not
Yeah,
impossible.
Netflix is not
Not
stupid. If a
impossible.
lot of eyeballs on the show, they might bring it back for a fourth season. I really hope they do because I really love that show. Such a great show. If you guys haven't
But
seen it, yeah,
there's a lot of things going against it because all the guys have been released from the contracts, and
it is.
so
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna be easy to sell.
not impossible, not
It's not
impossible,
impossible. But
but
listen, if anybody watching
it's
this is like I'm not saying it will be, but a suits situation.
yes, absolutely,
And what they're talking
absolutely.
about suits bringing that back potentially, right? So it
hmm
can happen based on popularity. And Netflix, it's all about money, right?
But
So
there is a silver lining to the story. That's it. Andrew Koji, who obviously Assam, kick-ass warrior, is going to be on season 3 of Gangs of London. So I'm
yeah,
like,
so that's very
he's bringing
exciting.
his
Yeah.
his kung fu skills to another great show that we love.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. It definitely is. So what it is, what it is. Shows come and go. Listen, if you don't have Max, right, you have Netflix. Most people have Netflix over Max, I would assume, based
Mhm.
on just pure numbers.
Yes.
Go catch on February 2024, right around the corner. Go catch, the Warrior. All 3 seasons will be on there. Great show, and hopefully maybe it picks up. So we'll see. And that wasn't the only one. It was one more show. Shining Veil obviously got the axe as well on Stars after its 2 season run because Courtney Cox does, and it's kind of this horror comedy kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, not a great show, so whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But
Look, it's stars. This needs to go away. This is the time that
right,
this is where we start getting. We had the expansion. Everyone wanted the plus in their package, and now we're seeing consolidation.
yeah, and we
So
might see with
obviously,
Warner Brothers, talking about
you're
buying
talking
out
about
or
Paramount
merging with
Plus.
Paramount,
Yes.
right? So which is good if you have either one of the two. 'Cause I would assume they just be one streaming service, right?
Well, and then
With more
Showtime, because
content.
obviously Paramount brought Showtime under one package as well. So,
Right. But I mean,
um,
they all be on the house potentially under one roof under the Max brand, so that only adds
yes.
more shows and properties to watch on that. So it's I think it's a win-win for most people if that actually happens, and all signs point to it happening, or at least some sort of
I hope
Paramount
so.
selling off to somebody at some because
Mm,
they have no choice. So it's just a matter of who bids in or whatever the case is. So we
mm,
look out for that. But yeah, Shining Veil is obviously a show gone, and it is what it is. But it's a new year coming up, so let's try to start positive. So we'll
okay.
probably start positive in a couple of things we mentioned on the road because right now I can't really start too positive here, unfortunately. Let's
Here we
begin
go.
the week. Let's begin with what dropped and probably the highest profile release of the week, and that's of course on Netflix, Rebel Moon. Of course, Zack Snyder, director of the Snyderverse or whatever the case is, very divisive to say the least. It has its fans, no doubt. It's very kind of a mixed bag. By the way, I like him as a director, I always have. But here we have his kind of take on Star Wars. He actually pitches us a Star Wars film, but they didn't want to take it. I can see why. So he kind of went his own. Netflix gave him the bag because whatever, Netflix does Netflix do. So basically, we have a story here following. I think Sofia Boutella, yeah, she's starring role in
Hmm.
this. She's was a former. This is it's kind of like think about Star Wars, right? It's like a galactic empire. The mother mother. What is it? What do they call it? The mother Earth. What
Motherland, Mother
Motherland,
World.
whatever they
Yeah,
call it, that's
yeah.
the empire, quote unquote. She used to be one of a high-ranking, soldier, whatever, warrior, and now she left them, and she's a little small little farming
Well, I mean,
world.
she was also, I guess, a protector of the assassinated princess
Right,
at
the
one
prince,
point. So,
right? So she
yeah.
was high up, whatever she was. She
Hmm.
obviously, for reasons they'll get into, she's now living off in some far world, just a basic farmer, who now the farming community which he's kind of attached to has become under the foot of the empire, quote unquote. He called the empire. It is what it is. So now she wants to fight back and goes off and starts recruiting people, warriors who can help her accomplish that mission. That's kind of the basic layout, right? So it is very Star Wars ish. Listen, man, with Zack Snyder, there's good and there's bad in all his films, right? Normally, he's known for his great visuals, great
Hmm.
action set piece. He's really good at that. That's something he excels in. The slow motion is good and bad. Take it for what it is worth. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a bit much, and this movie is a bit much. But he's not a great storyteller. He's always better when he's simple. He takes a simple story like Dawn of the Dead. It's just zombies, not much to it. You have fun, it's entertaining. Or at 300, again, simple story, just about that the visuals take center stage. Because this guy's substance over style, right? Style over substance, rather. Sorry. So this one here, listen, man, I was looking forward to this. This is part one or part two, and there is a director's cut, as there always is with Zack Snyder's movies. And usually, I would say his director's cuts are always better. For the most
Hmm.
part, they don't have to be that long, which is a problem that he has. He had control himself, but nonetheless, they are better. Batman v Superman was not a good movie, but the director's cut was better. Watchmen I liked it, but it was even better in the longer cut, as was Justice League, right? The Snyder cut, whatever the case is. But that being said, listen, this one disappointing, man.
Well,
I really want.
which Justice League, because there was
Well, I mean,
we're talking about the remake right now. It wasn't. I wouldn't call it a director's cut. I mean,
I
he had
mean,
his.
whatever. It was his cut, a different cut of the
Yeah.
film. What do you want to
All right.
call it? It's his vision come,
Okay.
full.
Well, definitely,
For the
definitely way better than the Josh Whedon version
right.
we
That's what
got.
I'm saying. Yeah, and because
Okay.
they both take blame from that first one, but he came back and did a better job. It's still not great. The movie should never be 4 hours long. This is call it what it is. But neither here nor there. This one is disappointing, man. I'm a Zack Snyder fan, but this one we get all the bad that we usually give Zack Snyder, which I forgive because we get the good. And this one we don't get the good. The visuals weren't great. There wasn't whole lot of great action in it at all, which is he known for. So now we don't get another good. All we get is bad and just poor storytelling and this exposition dump. Just one scene, she's telling a story. It took 6 minutes. I timed it. It was 6 minutes exposition dump. No movie should ever have a 6 minute exposition. You just can't do that. It's too long. Show, don't tell, right? He was telling and showing it. It doesn't work. And these characters, maybe they're cool. They don't flesh them out. They just go from rush from one place to meet one, meet the other, meet the other, meet the other. I don't know. It just doesn't take his time here. Maybe the director's cut fixes that. But man, I was kind of bored, to be honest with you. The story just didn't quite work. And there's something there. There's cool stuff here. But it felt like part of the movie. I know it's a part two, but you can still do a complete part one and then give us part two. That can still happen. We've seen tons of movies do that, right? Despite the fact they're going to be 3 parts or whatever, 2 parts. So yeah, it's a big letdown, man. I was disappointed, really disappointed. I'll check out the director's cut just to see what is there that this movie needed, and hopefully that would decide whether I see part two or not. To be honest with you, this is gonna be rated R, so maybe that helps. But this was kind of, it felt like a neuter version of a Zack Snyder movie, and Netflix made him do this. I'm not gonna blame Zack Snyder. Netflix wanted this because they wanted the money, and I get it. But yeah, disappointed. I can't honestly recommend it, even for Zack Snyder fans. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Disappointing. Chew, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we had a friend of ours too. We were talking about this earlier this week on a Skype call, and his comment was he felt bored, right? I don't think he said he was bored. I don't know if you had the complaints that you had, but he obviously wasn't a fan. And looking at the numbers, obviously critics are killing this.
This
I
movie
mean,
got
they kill
hammered,
it
and
from
I
the
get it.
start.
I get it.
But on the flip side, the audience scores is on the other end of the spectrum,
Well,
which I'm not sure if it's a result of that or
I'll say
I don't know how that works
no, no.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'll say this with
Whether
the audience scores for Rotten Tomatoes, because normally, when theatrical releases, you focus on that, and you have to actually have proof to see the movie to provide your score. With Netflix, you don't, because there's no way to really determine whether you've seen it or not, right? As opposed to going to the theater.
well,
But
I mean,
but before the movie was
I
released,
would say well, no, okay, yeah,
well,
go
I
ahead.
mean, people go in there, and there was a lot of reviews before the movie came out, like just days before. It was already at 77%, and the movie hadn't been released yet for the user rating, right? And there's a bunch of bomb people who say they didn't like it, and said they liked it, but no one has seen it yet. So that's when it comes to this one, I wouldn't really look at that. If it's a theatrical release, yes, the audience score has more weight. And this one,
Mhm.
throw it out the window. Really, trust me. But nonetheless, so Chewy, go ahead. I'm
Well, but
sorry.
it's been released now, so it's not
But
trending. I
it's
mean,
mixed.
obviously,
But
it's
it's
still
mixed
above 70.
in. Right.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
70. It's 70 before. So it's hard to tell what's
Right.
real. So
I'm not as tough on it as you are. I mean, there's some things that I mean, maybe this was better built for a series or maybe a limited series
probably,
versus the
probably.
full hour or where we end up getting the director's cut 6 to 7 hour movie. Because it's probably a 4 hour movie of this, and so throw in the other one at three. It's for the you have a 7 part limited series.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there, Zach. Just throwing it out there. It gives you a little bit
No,
more
I agree with it. It
flexibility
needed
to
time.
flesh out
Yeah.
characters and percolate because this needed more time to develop and explain. And so this is probably where it's probably better as a series than a movie. But that being said, I'm not. I actually I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed sitting
Fair
through
enough.
it. I knew it's part one and two, right? But that's what I'm saying. When you do these movies that are this long, it's just better suited for a limited series treatment than
That's
trying to
fair.
package it as
Yeah.
an action movie
I completely
and
agree.
take your time. So I don't. I mean, whether it's Netflix or Zack Snyder or whoever's fault, someone needs to put the big boy pants in the room, saying, "Hey, with this something this dense, with this much going on, with this much story, because this is not a part of a known universe,
Right. So
right?
there's a lot of work buildings to
So
get
there
done.
isn't.
Yeah.
Yes,
A lot
exactly.
of it.
There's a lot of work, a lot of exposition, a lot of explanation needs to be proposed. You can't just give us a scroll at the beginning and we know what the hell is going on,
Right.
and fill in the blanks throughout. So, but that being said, it is what it is. Nothing to do about it now. But I enjoyed it. I sat there. I watched it
Okay.
late night. I didn't fall asleep. It was a tad long. I mean,
It was
I
only
don't
two
know.
fifteen.
There was
Yeah.
definitely one too many uh, the gratuitous use of the slow mo
Oh my
action.
God, dude.
But
Jeez.
when it was yeah, but still, I still enjoyed it because that's his style, right? That's who
Sure.
he is. That's what he loves to use, and you see it in all of
Oh no,
his
absolutely.
movies,
Yeah,
every
that's a
single one.
signature, right? It is. John Woo and
Some
the
places
Doves,
it
right? That's
works
his
better
thing.
than others. Yes, yes, that's his bag of tricks. But like I said, I enjoyed the look. I enjoyed the story. I wish yes, the characters were shortchanged, especially the ancillary characters
A
where
lot of
she's
them.
tracking down
Yeah.
the general and stuff. Now I know some of the stuff is going to come in part two where we get more background, but it's you know,
it
it's
goes back, like I said, he's so good at some things, and he's just not a good storyteller. A good
mhm,
storyteller sets us
yeah.
up, right? So now the payoff comes in the second part, right? And you're invested in what's going on. We're not invested in the characters,
Mhm,
like, oh, okay, what's going on? You're gonna do it in the second part, really? When you're trying to wrap it up,
yeah.
it's just bad storytelling, and it
But
really is for
and
him.
that ending action sequence
It was
was
okay.
very
It was
good, man. That
okay.
full
It was like a
battle
big epic
and
thing.
stuff.
It was like a battle. You see,
Well, not because
it's
it
like a
wasn't meant
mid-scene
to
battle
be
scene,
the
right? You know,
crescendo. Yes, exactly, because it is a mid scene because it's not the end of the movie. You know,
correct. But
we
you have to hit
know.
out of the park. You got to give it something. But the best scene was, I thought the first 20, 30 minutes of the film was really good. I was like, man, I don't get the hate in the film. The setup was fine.
That's what I was. That was what I was
And I'm like,
thinking.
okay, it's
Man. Like,
going
what's
well.
going on? This is
The
not.
really cool
Yeah.
sequence, her first action sequence, probably the best one. It's not a great, but it's a good one.
Where she's defending the girl from
Brushing
being
and red,
raped. I
that
want.
was really cool. That worked
Okay.
out
Yeah.
well. And I
Oh
like
yes,
this
yes.
the
I was
story. I
excellent.
thought the best part, grossly underutilized. I'm sure they'll bring it back, but again, this goes back to good storytelling. Was their robot and that story, and
Which that's coming
of
back
course,
in
coming back,
in
but
part
they should
two.
have kept.
Yes.
You got to keep that up, and a series would have been just so way better to explore this.
Yes, absolutely, because you can explore his why all of a sudden because we get explanations why they stop it. They
Yeah,
tell us right. They just all drop their arm, but then why how is he able to at this very moment decide to fight right? Decide to kill
right.
again.
And it'll be cool to see
And
some of that. You know.
maybe he could have been part of the team.
And
Maybe
that's what I'm saying, right?
flushed out the team.
Include him in
Yes.
there.
Now, would that been too much of a C3PO type of situation with Star Wars comparison?
Whatever,
Maybe.
whatever. That's fine.
Okay.
This is a
Yeah,
Star Wars ripoff, among other films, right? And
I believe that.
it's
We do that.
derivative. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's not a big deal. It's not like he was trying not to do that. And he said himself he was trying to do a Star Wars film. Fair enough. It's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Star Wars ain't doing that great. So you can do it better. Okay, I don't care who does it. Just give me a good Star. Give me a good Star Wars film. I don't care where it
It's
comes from,
probably
right?
had a better feel than a Star Wars movie as far as
There's a lot of potential here. Yes, a lot of
cohesion.
potential, and it just seems wasted. And that's again, it's just he's not a great storyteller. Unfortunate. This exact same story in another director's hands could have been so much better. Right? Maybe not visually or
Mm,
whatever, but just pure
yeah.
story could have been great. Because there's some cool stuff here. There really is. So we'll see. I'm curious to see a direct that his. But the director's cut may be his original cut, what he wants, right? Netflix want him to do a PG version of it. So it's maybe
Yes.
right.
It's PG
It's not like he did a
13.
PG
So
13 version and then he's like, okay, let me now do an R version. The R version is what he wanted to do.
no. Yes.
Netflix, they were okay with it. They want to do a PG 13. They wanted money, they wanted more eyes. That's all. And I get it, right? Okay, you see this, go see this extended cut. So let's see. The extended cut will definitely determine what I decide to watch the second one out, which comes out, I believe, in April. But yeah, I mean, it was
April
like I
19th.
said, it was not a great film. Whether you liked it, which I know you liked, that's fine. But it's definitely not like, oh my god, go watch it.
No,
Yeah, it's like
no. But I mean, if you're a fan of Zack Snyder, or even I say if
if
you're a
you're Zack
fan of
Snyder, you're gonna give it
sci-fi,
a
I think you
chance,
could appreciate
and I
it.
get it, and you should.
Yes, but if you're a fan of sci-fi,
Yeah,
then definitely it's
if you
more
yeah,
up
if you
your
don't like
alley
Zack
because
Snyder
this is
for
really
what he does, then you don't bother. it's, it's
yeah.
not even, you're gonna get what he normally gives you. If you don't like in other films which are better, you're not gonna like it in this. It's the bottom line, right?
Mhm.
The next one here. Now we get to a little more positive stuff. It is Christmas. Get positive. Disney Plus, and that's rare. I will never say positive Disney Plus. But here, the world,
Wow,
how the
I'm
world's gonna
shocked.
turn, and this must be cold. The Satan's out here hanging out because he's like,
I'm
man, it's freezing
shocked.
down there. So we got Percy Jackson and the Olympians coming out. This one here, of course, based on existing. We've seen the film series, which I was not a huge fan of. But this one here, a boy who learns he is a son of a god, right? The Greek mythology and all that, and he's got to
Mhm.
do what he has to do, and this discovery and who he is, and of course, there's a looming threat, etc., etc. Just keep it simple. I dropped 2 episodes here, and this one I gotta say I was pleasantly surprised, man. I actually enjoyed what's going on here, much better than I did the film, and that's because maybe it's a series you can flesh things out more, particularly with the kid who I
Mhm.
liked. I like both kids, him and his best friend. I forgot what they call him. He's not a minotaur, whatever. He got the little goat legs and whatever.
Up on,
But
I
whatever it
think,
is. But I like him.
half
I
man,
like
half
him.
dog,
Really
whatever it is. Yeah.
cool. I like the story, how it progressed. Very interesting. I enjoyed this one, man. Good family show. And it's rare for me to sit there and say, go check this out on Disney. I don't say it very often. You know that,
Yeah,
Chewy.
for
So
real,
I was,
man. For
yeah,
real.
especially maybe, and I saw this before River Moon, so it wasn't like that. It wasn't like I saw River Moon and I saw this is way better than that crap. I saw this before River Moon, so I was liking it despite that. So yeah, it was good, man. It's a recommend, dude. I enjoyed it. If you get Disney Plus, family show, definitely watch. Chewy.
No, I mean, I will agree with you on all points. I enjoyed it. It was a good family show, good fun, good story. I didn't read the books. Didn't like the movies
Yeah, the
particularly.
movie's not good.
Um, but like this is the theme for today. Things are better suited for series and movies
Sure,
sometimes.
sure.
And so this is the
Yeah, because
result.
there's a lot
So
of
let's
material
see.
here, a lot of, stuff to the story, right? It's hard to condense that in a
Yeah,
film or two films, right?
it's a 2 hour action
Right,
movie.
exactly.
Yeah.
Get you invested in what's going on, and the kid's really good. So I'm enjoying this one. Surprisingly good show. The on Disney Plus. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna rave as much about. Oh, go
Well,
ahead. I'm sorry.
there was another one on Disney Plus that we completely missed the radar on. My bad. It's came out the same day as Percy Jackson, so that's why I caught it. It's called Wonder Hatch, and this
Uh,
is a Japanese show. Interesting premise: it's a combination live action and
oh, I
anime.
saw. I was gonna watch. I know exactly what you're talking. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
like the combo
Yes,
anime. Yeah, I didn't get a chance
yes, yeah.
to see that. You saw it then. Okay, how
Yes,
is that?
yes. Unfortunately or fortunately, you don't have the option to dub it. You got to read subtitles. So maybe they have put out the right version.
Interesting.
So I find that a little annoying because sometimes I just want to listen,
Sure.
right? I don't care about reading. But so I was forced to read the subtitles this time. But it was actually pretty decent because this is their obviously Disney and Hulu or whatever the
Right.
brand is mixing in more anime related type of shows, and obviously we've seen this in
Mm-hmm.
Netflix with One Piece, and what
Oh,
was a
the Yu
recent
Yu
one we just saw.
Hakusho, the Yu Yu Hakusho, whatever.
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
probably saying it wrong.
exactly,
Forgive me.
yes, yeah,
But right, which
yeah,
I enjoyed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is up in the vein of that, with, but it's not taking an original anime, but it's mixing an anime story with live action, right? Kind of bringing those worlds together. So very interesting premise, very interesting show. And I enjoyed it. I dropped 2 episodes.
Okay.
It's like Percy Jackson, and it was definitely was definitely entertained,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This is a light week.
Um,
This next week, and we'll get that at the end. But
mhm.
yeah, well, I'll definitely might have a chance to catch up on that one since I missed it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough. Yeah,
absolutely.
I saw it. I totally forgot to watch it. But let's stick with Disney. Disney Plus apparently is a big winner here this week. And this show I didn't love, but I liked. And that's What If season two dropping
Yes. Yeah.
dropping an episode daily. I guess until its run.
So I've seen two.
Yeah, I saw
Obviously,
two. I haven't
preparing the
seen
third one.
today's obviously here. And listen, if you're a fan of of Marvel, you know what this is, right? Just kind of these little elseworld stories, animated, 30 minutes long, and just 10 different stories. If this person was somebody else, so it all related to kind of the multiverse and stuff like that, right? So we have
Yeah, yes, exactly. This is a multiverse show essentially, right?
exactly,
Different
yeah.
worlds, different alternative universes, different
Yeah,
outcomes.
I
Yes.
enjoyed the first season. I think it was great. It was good. It was solid. It was fine. This one here,
Mhm.
same thing. It's good. It's good. I enjoy the animation. It's fun. It's entertaining. I mean, nothing earth shattering. If a Marvel fan, you're probably watching it. Should be watching it. I'm not sitting there and say go knock down the door of Disney, to go watch the show. But I enjoyed it. Again, it is what it
Ah.
is. It's fine. If you like animation, you enjoy the show. Chewy, I assume you're on the same boat.
Yeah, man, it's always good when we can bring back Howard the Duck
Yeah,
and
true.
try to make up for that disastrous Steven Spielberg iteration of it from the '80s. Good lord, that was terrible.
Disaster.
But it's good. Yeah. No, I said so 2 episodes so far. I haven't watched the third one yet
Yeah.
today. But like I said, I really like the first season, and this is just kind of just giving us more of the same, right? Looking at different alternative scenarios of different characters that we know, and obviously bringing back the voice actors for the most part on a lot of
Right.
these, right? So first episode had Hemsworth, Wakiti, sorry, Gillum.
Nebula.
Next one
Yeah, the
had
voice of Nebula. Yeah,
yeah,
for
Nebula.
her name.
Yeah, the other one had Agent Carter, had the original Ant Man, had Sebastian Stan. So like a bunch of characters we know they're coming back and putting in the work and doing the voice
Yeah,
acting
that adds a little
for
more
this animation show.
authenticity to it.
Yes,
But it's,
absolutely,
it's it's fun. It's a
absolutely.
good show. It's like it's not great, but it's good. I enjoyed it, and like I said,
Mhm.
I think how many episodes? Eight? I don't even know. To be honest with you. Nine.
Nine,
Okay, so
nine
it's every
episodes.
day for 9 days.
Yes,
Okay, fair enough.
yes.
So obviously it would take us through literally the end of the year. Yeah, so check that out on
Yes.
Disney Plus. This next one here on Netflix, it's Gyeonseong Creature. I don't know if I'm saying that right now. Probably not saying it right. Forgive me. A Korean show here. This one here taking place in 1945. Obviously I think it's still World War II going on. I don't know, but actually no. Take it back. By the way, so Japan's occupying what's known as Seoul now, so Korea, and it's a young man who is owns like a pawn shop in the city. He's a master of information. He has little birdies almost right everywhere, and he gets information. And he is tasked to find this missing woman by a high-ranking official from the Japanese army and stuff, because that's basically his mistress. So he gives an ultimatum: find her, or I'm going to ruin you. He's like, okay, well, what choice do I have? He recruits a couple of people, particularly one girl who's looking for her mother, was missing for 10 years. And they find out that they have been held captive in this hospital, which is doubling as a laboratory for the Japanese, as they're doing experimentation a la like the Nazis did. And they found some parasite, they're trying to hone and create these creatures, or a creature they can control, and creature which is very, very powerful and fast and all, etc. So now they're running into the creatures and into Japanese, and all kinds of stuff goes on. This one here, I don't know if you saw it, not true, but I'm actually enjoying this one. They're doing a two-parter, 7 episodes now, 3, I think January 5th, if I'm not mistaken, about an hour long each. I'm enjoying it, man. Really well paced. I want more of the creature. It's my only complaint. But when we get to episode 3 and 4, there's a whole lot of the creature stuff that got me all excited, because it's really cool. I think into the fifth episode. I think I'm in 5. You start getting into that, and the creature, and a little bit of spoiler, but it breaks out, of course, inside the prison or whatever, the laboratory, and some nice people are trying to avoid the Japanese soldiers and avoid the creature. All hell's breaking loose. So I'm really enjoying it. I like it. It's fun, entertaining. It's decent action. A little slow pace at the beginning, but does pick up. So I just wanted to a good recommendation for you guys. Chew your thoughts if you've seen it, if you saw it or not.
No, I never.
Okay. I didn't think you would. But it's very cool.
Yeah, I have interest. I got stuff to catch up in the rest of the year.
Fair enough. But it's a good show. You guys like the Korean dramas. It's just one that I will put on your list for sure.
K-drama,
baby. A lot of people like that. And this is one. This is really cool, particularly if you're into the creatures and stuff like that. But it's not horror. Don't get me wrong. It's not by any stretch of the imagination. This last one, of course, Dr. Death, entering its 2nd season. Really, season 1B, because it's an anthology, right? First season dealing with Dr. Deutsch, who is this infamous surgeon, quote unquote, who did operating, did
big quotations,
minimally invasive procedures, vasectomies and laminectomies, etc., and killing or maiming all his patients, right? Fascinating story, really good show with Alec Baldwin and I think I forgot his name for Mr. Robot. Yeah.
Oh, Christian Slater. And that, it wasn't Alec. Well, Alec Baldwin, yes, but the main character.
The
main character. He was in Friday Night Lights. I can't remember which show it was.
Attraction, unfortunately.
Oh God, yeah, the series.
Show. But the other way, but it's really good. So in season 2, it's great because this is one where a fascinating story. We had talked about Bad Surgeon at the Netflix documentary a few weeks ago, and three episodes. A crazy, ridiculous story, about a surgeon who was able to create the artificial organs, I guess in this case, an esophagus. That was his specialty. Those were cancer or other issues. He'll replace it using stem cells and whatever, and this and that. But it turned out there was the means of how he got there was unscrupulous. Nonetheless, his patients also dying, and not only that, also that was told through the eyes of this reporter who fell in love with him, and they were getting engaged, and she discovered all the lies and stuff that he had told her. It was amazing. This things that's compound. I was like, this should be a show. It was written like 10. Here, lo and behold, here we are, right? So season 2, I think Manny Moore plays the journalist who starts off with interviewing him, doing a documentary about one of the patients, a little young girl who couldn't breathe, that was born, I think, without an esophagus, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
She was the youngest one to receive an artificial organ. Unfortunately passed shortly thereafter. But so this one here dropping its 8 episodes. I've seen about 2, taking the time because my wife had never seen the original Dr. Death, so we went back and started watching that one. She did see a documentary, so she really wanted to see, this show. It's good, man. Solid. It's picking up. It's laying the foundation, knowing what's going to happen. We're more invested. I can see if you don't know exactly what's going on.
But we know the story.
Right.
We
it
know
could be
the
a little
story.
bit slow, but I'm sure that this shit is about to hit the fan with the show and what's going on. They already laid that groundwork.
Yes.
So I'm kind of curious how they progress. There are some changes already from what I understand from the documentary, which is understood. It's dramatization of it. You got to make changes. It won't be exactly the same, and that's fine. But it's kind of cool seeing what they changed. Like, wait a minute. That's not what we talked about, but it's fine.
Exactly. I know. I keep doing that.
Occasionally,
that's not what happened.
I'm like, well, wait, didn't she? Whatever. But we anticipate that, of course, right? You got to make changes. This is how it goes. It's Hollywood. But it's well told. It's a fascinating story, and so if you have to see season 1. It's it's anthology, complete independent. So you can skip season 1. I would recommend watching season 1 because it's really good. But definitely is one I definitely recommend you guys watch. Chew your thoughts on this one so far.
No, I'm about halfway through, and so it definitely picks up because it is an 8-episode run. So once you get to 4, you'll see where things are going, and it's progressing quickly. But I mean, it's like we know the story, so like I said, we're not shocked
Right, right.
by anything. But it's definitely definitely an interesting watch, and it kind of makes you want to go back and look, okay, what really happened? Because obviously they changed a number of
Oh,
things,
of course. Yeah.
and with the patients and the order of things and what transpired. But still a very interesting dramatization and a good watch, at least from Peacock
Yeah, and look,
standards.
the gist is there. The story is there, obviously. It's actually
Yeah.
a documentary on Doctor Death that dropped recently. I'm probably gonna go watch the original, the Doctor
Uh,
Joint,
well, yeah,
Dunch one.
see
Yeah,
with that one they dropped it after
after
this
correct.
this Doctor
Yeah,
Death show.
exactly. So
Yeah, and so we saw the conversation. Okay, let's go
yeah,
watch the documentary and see what happened. Here it was like, oh, we saw the documentary. Oh, I wish they would make some Doctor Death. Wait, they did already.
yeah. I know. So it's if I'm gonna watch that now, more I seen it, she's kind of wanted to get interested in the real, what was the reality versus the show, because the show always changes things. It's fun, which I have no problem with, and I totally understand they should. As long as they keep the gist of what's going on, which they do, obviously. So this is a really cool story. It's fascinating. If you haven't seen a documentary, I would say check out the show. Probably watch the documentary second. I think that's always the best way to watch it on that way. But yeah, good show, man. Definitely. Peacock doesn't have many good shows, and again, only about 25 people watch Peacock. So you 25, yeah, why not? Go watch it. What the hell, right?
Stop it, dude, stop it.
Come on, let's be real, dude. When it was free, I get it. Now they're charging, man. I still get it for free, but it's charging Peacock. Damn bad, dumb
Sucker.
bastards. But either way, so that's it for the week. So a lot of stuff for you guys to munch on, no doubt. Next week's a light week. It's heading to the new year, to the end of the year. It's a good chance to catch
Well,
up with some shows.
this is the end. This is the
This is the
last week of
last
the year,
week, and
man.
hopefully ends with a bang. Whatever. There's only 3 things coming out off of Netflix. The first one on the 24th is actually today. I just thought about that.
Today.
I just start watching it later on. Is The Manny.
Mhm.
It's a Spanish show, I guess, about a woman who hires a man to watch the kids, right?
And
Hence,
Manny, and
hence
man,
Manny. Very,
Manny.
very creative. So it's gonna be a comedy thing. Whatever. We only have 3
Let's
shows.
see.
I'll
Let's
give it a
see.
shot. It comes out early, so it's fine. I'll probably catch it.
It's already out. It's already out. So, yeah.
Exactly. The next one is documentary on the 27th. It's Hell Camp, The Nightmare. It's a docu-film. I'm not too familiar with the story, but should we come from wrong? He's like, I guess, back
This
back in
is
the day.
I think this was in the
Okay.
90s. And I remember the story back then where I think it might have been California, where there was this institution where obviously they would take troubled teens, juveniles, and this was supposed to reform them in some way. It wasn't a detention center per se, but these kids had issues or were troubled kids to a certain extent, rebellious behavior, whatnot. And so the parents sent them to this camp to try to reform, tried to make them, you know, contributing members
Productive
of society in
citizens.
some
Right.
fashion. Yeah, at some point, right? Obviously, they're still young teens, teenagers. So, but obviously, there was a lot of shit going on, and resulted. And I'm not sure if it was one or multiple deaths of some of the kids. And so, obviously, the practices and tactics that they employed came into serious scrutiny, to say the
Right.
least.
Right.
Lawsuits and
Okay.
whatnot. So I don't think this was not a government sanctioned facility. This was an independent, privately owned operation, right? I think now, obviously, when I watch the show, it may rekindle my memory as far as what I can. But I remember the events and the deaths that happened because of the practice that they did, and how they end up treating these kids, really.
Interesting.
Deservedly or not, this was not to be a prison, so
Right. Of course. Yeah.
I think it's pretty undeserved,
Okay.
undeserved, and it scarred many of them for throughout their lives because of
I'm
what they
curious.
what
I'm
they had
interested
to
exactly.
endure.
So I'm not familiar. I'm
Yeah,
interested in what exactly went
but
on this camp.
when it came out, it ended up essentially being essentially sanctioned torture. What's ended up
Oh,
coming out from the
interesting.
stories and stuff of what they did: starvation, isolation, corporal punishment type of stuff. So not a fun environment, right? And throw in that but this was somewhere in the desert, so there was obviously a physical aspect to try to help these kids perform. So which obviously caused a lot of issues for them as well.
Interesting.
But like I said, might be interesting watching. So let's go
No,
check it out.
absolutely. And then the last one, 29th, is Berlin. Of course, the Money Heist prequel. Fans of Money Heist, of course, a very
Mm-hmm.
popular show a few years ago. The famous heist world, and we know how this story goes.
Son of a
Focusing on
bitch.
Berlin, who actually ended up dying in the first season, or second season, first season, second season. I don't know.
I think he
It could have been his first,
might
second.
have been third
I
season.
don't even know, but he ended up dying. So
I
that's
don't
just a
know. One
prequel
of
of his
those.
story. Maybe another heist involving him. And he was one of my favorite characters, so I'm curious about this one. Looks entertaining, and I'm a fan of Money Heist, no doubt. Ran out a little bit too long, but for the most part, really good show. So hopefully it's good. So let's find out. So that's it. That's not a whole lot, to end the year. So it's a good time to go back and catch up and all that, and whatever. So after you finish watching Zack Snyder, I'm determining whether you agree with me or Chewy that movie sucks. So it's hey, you can catch some of these other shows. By the way, we didn't get a ring endorsement from anybody in the show, just for the record. So if you don't like it, don't blame us. Chewy didn't love it. He said it was okay. Just saying. But that being said, hope you guys get your gifts. Enjoy it. Of course, have a good time with the families. Eggnog, yada, yada, yada. A lot of food. Enjoy. We'll see you guys right on the eve of the new year. We'll catch you up as far as what these shows are and what's coming out. What's going to be the first shows to maybe, hopefully, raise the bar for 2024. We'll find out in a week. That being said, it's been a pleasure as always. Subscribe, like, share the video. Of course, catch us here every Sunday. The Watch List. See you guys next week.